It's so strange that after talking about Dear Days 2, the hype died down and everyone went back to playing, the physical card game as God intended. And they were like, oh wow, DZBT09 is so fun for Cactus Sanctuary. We have Ezel, who's a failure, Minerva was almost a failure, Nebula Knights was relying on a tournament promo to do well, and all the weird other Cactus stuff. And they were like, where's Graham Grace? Good question. Where is Graham Grace? Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm DZBT09 here. Today I am back to talk about Favrneel, or Favrneel Rheingold, or whatever this deck is called in English at this point, because I frankly have no idea. Today, I'm here to talk about Favrneel in DZBT09, which is, what's it called? Super Brave Detonation. I forgot the name of this set in English. But, yeah, so basically, I'm pretty sure results around have all shown you, DZBT09 isn't doing too well in terms of meta relevancy because of Basagra and Batman, but this video is being pre-recorded, so who knows, hopefully by this ban list everything has changed and Buddy Fight is the best in format, ha, infinite power, DD boom. But if not, I want to talk about a deck that I actually believe got one of its most impactful supports, and that is Favrneel. So on this channel, and for y'all who already know me, I tend to like to give spotlights to decks that get supports, very impactful supports or strong waves of stuff that comes out that people tend to have forgotten about or don't really talk about. So that's what I will be doing today. So I just wanted to spend some time to talk about the Favrneel support because frankly I think it's really good, and I think it solves one of the deck's biggest issues, and I'll get to that in a bit. But this is not going to be a deck profile because of reasons I'll explain at the end of this video. So first and foremost, let's talk about this guy. So this is first and foremost the new card for Favrneel. His name is Avidity Slave in the Japanese. I have no idea what they're going to translate him to in English, but yeah, here we go. So Avidity Slave is a double rare Dark States grade 1. When placed on the rearguard circle from hand, so you can't spell call it. It has to, I mean you can if you can spell call it from hand, but it has to come from hand. You may reveal a Favrneel, a Purgation Dragon Deity Favrneel from your right deck. If you reveal or your Vanguard already is Purgation Dragon Deity Favrneel, aka the original, you Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 or higher card with Favrneel in its card name, put it into your soul and shuffle the deck. And that's his first on play skill. His second skill is when this unit boosts a grade 3 or higher, this unit gains 2000 power until the end of that battle, and then if the total grade of Dark States in your soul 13 or higher, choose one of your units and it gains 5000 power until the end of the turn. So it's a very deceptively simple card, and at first glance you may be thinking, well, I don't care, it's a net 0 guy, it just replaces one soul, right? You soul blast one and add another guy to soul, and it's just power, right? Like, what gives? Avidity Slave solves a lot of the issues of Favrneel for a few reasons, so I'll break it down in this segment. First and foremost, if your Vanguard is Favrneel, the original, or if it's in your right deck, aka you intend to ride it, you can now just Soul Blast 1 and then just add Favrneel Rheingold straight into your soul. 100%, you can scan the whole deck for it, right? And that means at the end of the battle that Favrneel attacks during the end of his turn later on I don't know, turn 3, you can now just trigger Favrneel Rheingold's effect to Superior Crossride during the end phase, which means now you have 100% consistency of seeing the whole combo from Favrneel to Favrneel Rheingold. The only thing is, all you have to do is just open this, right? So as long as you open this card, or if you just already open Favrneel Rheingold, you will guarantee access to Favrneel Rheingold, which is insane. It is insane. It basically gives you infinite consistency, right? Like, this is like telling me if Felty Rosa got a card that said, Lamau, search your deck for, the original Felty Rosa, put it into the soul and call it a day. It's like Overlord support, for those who remember Overlord's promo from Skyride. I will put a link in the description for the Overlord video. I think that's a pretty relevant comparison to that, but it's basically on that level, right? It's basically, Lamau, I scan my deck for the base form, put it into the soul, now I don't need to think about it. Which is something Platina Hassel needed. Platina Hassel. You guys thought I forgot that video, right? No, I'm not. I'm just not doing it. No, deck's not good. As well as Vermilion. What the hell? Vermilion definitely needs support like that. But no, they gave the Favrneel of all damn things, and I guess I know why. Because you only are allowed to play one of the original Favrneel, right? So by treating this support, they have basically made it so, and here's my discussion, is that they basically make it so that you have to play the original on the right deck, right? Because previously, beforehand, as I mentioned in my previous Favrneel video, a lot of people were just playing Favrneel Rhine Gold in the right deck and then just finding a way to cheat the original Favrneel into the soul. Now with this card, in one card, they've solved that problem for you, but the downside is you have to ride into the Grade 3 Favrneel for your right deck. Alright, that's not too bad, but the second thing is also, this card takes 1 Soul Blast, right? Which at first glance is not too bad, this is Dark States. But then again, that means your right deck has to soul charge a lot, right? And that's going to be a problem. So a lot of people have made the call to play the Blindemire right deck for Favrneel. But for me, I've decided to play a different right deck. For Favrneel now, I am now playing the Omina right deck. So that is what I've done because of this card. Why I'm playing the Omina right deck is very simple. Omina Croak is basically Soul Charge 2, right? At the cost of 1 Soul Blast, so essentially it's Soul Charge 1 for free. Omina Croak searches your deck for 1 trigger, moves it to the soul, and then you can draw a card. So you can just chuck a draw trigger and it's totally fine. Again, the reason why I'm doing this is very simple, because this guarantees me 2 soul and 1 draw, which is a lot better than most Dark States right decks where you try and fit it in. If you compare it to El Majester, if you compare it to Blindemire, if you compare it to the Bruce right line, you're going to realize this is probably the best right line pick you have. So that's probably why. And also because by charging a Grade 0 to the soul with Omina Croak, you do have something that you directly want to Soul Blast out for Avidity Slave, which is pretty damn appealing. So again, Avidity Slave does patch in quite a few problems for this deck. It gives you infinite Favrneel access. But the only downside is that it only works when you are on the base Grade 3 Favrneel. So the second you go up to Rhine Gold, you kind of lose that effect. But that's okay. I think we can balance this card that way, and I think it's totally fine. For what it's worth, it's really okay. The second skill is that when you boost a Grade 3 Grade High unit, this unit gains 2000 power at the end of the battle. Then if you hit the Favrneel condition of 13 or more Dark States in Soul, choose another one of your units that gets 5 until the end of the turn. End of the turn is of course very important because Favrneel is a restanding Vanguard, right? So as long as you can hit this condition, if you boost Avidity Slave on any one of your attacks before Favrneel, you basically can get that 5k interval twice for a battle phase. And if they ever print a Rockagger clone or a card that restands for Favrneel in the rearguard, that's even better. You're just going to get more and more numbers for virtually free. Because as you can see, the second skill has no cost. You just need to hit the condition of 13 or more Dark States in Soul, and you get the bow. So again, Avidity Slave is, in my opinion, a really good card. I really think this card is worth discussing about, especially that's the whole point why I'm making this video. I really think this card is pushing Favrneel really close to competitive success, right? I genuinely think this is the card that has solved a lot of problems of Favrneel, and there are still issues for Favrneel. This deck is still not perfect, which is why the video's title is such. So, I still don't feel confident in talking about the whole deck list. Okay, I still don't feel like Favrneel has a competent enough deck that I can discuss, because any competent deck I discuss is just going to be boiled down to, oh, just play more Dark States generics, look at that, Chrono Jet. It's annoying. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's just annoying. So I much rather not. If you guys want to think of your own Favrneel deck list, by all means help yourself. And you know what? Let me help you too. I'm going to go through a few Dark States cards that I've recently found since my previous Favrneel video that I think are very interesting and not Favrneel support that I think is worth playing. Okay, so another one that I did start off on the cover is going to be the Dark States Ace unit from Festival Booster 2025. Now, the reason why I've decided to put this in this deck is for a few reasons. First and foremost, yes, I know it's a Dark States generic, but it works really well for Favrneel because Favrneel takes no energy in his deck, right? If you don't play Tiska, this is basically the only card that can use energy, which means you will always have resource for it. It is not only a good 20k beater. Again, please check out my Ace video, my Ace unit discussion. I will put that into the link description. It's not only a 20k beater, it's basically a stronger Foreign Revoltist for one-time usage. And you also can just look at the top 7 and add anything into the soul and then just call. So while this card is really good with Philia, it's honestly debatable if you want to play Philia, but I definitely do want to play the Dark States Ace because this is a very good beater and it also helps me tame the deck. It can even G2 game if you think about it, which Favrneel severely lacks as a deck that is carrying mostly grade 3s. this is a huge breath of fresh air. The only downside for the Dark States is very simple. It is also a shieldless card, right? So that is kind of rough in that extent, because you know this deck does have an issue with shieldless cards, but this is probably one of the few shieldless cards that will carry a whole game, right? Like if you open copies of, I don't know, this guy Horondis. No, that's not Horondis. That is, I forgot his name. This is Horondis, right? Like if you open one of the great trees that Favrneel plays, they may not swing the game for you that impactfully, but a unit with a unique skill, definitely. This card really puts in pedal to the metal because it gives Favrneel a plussing like none other. And Favrneel as a deck, for those of you who know, it pluses very little. So we'll take what we can get. Frankly, this is really good. This is probably one of the few Dark Stage generics I will openly endorse in playing Favrneel, because this one doesn't feel anti-synergy at all. Like, until Favrneel gets good energy support, I really cannot think of a reason in good faith to tell you guys don't play this, because I think it's really good. Now, the last discovery that I thought of, and a card that I've hidden away for a while, is Milos Lava. And Milos Lava is a triple rare from DZBT09, and I would go as far to say that I would play 4 of her in this deck. And that's pretty shocking because she's like, what, 200 yen on UUT? Like, she's really, I hate to say this, worthless. Like, she's a triple rare generic that's aged badly. But for all intents and purposes, I do believe that you can play her in Favrneel to devastating effect, because there's a synergy that most people aren't talking about, which I find strange. Let me talk about it then. Milos Lava from DZBT09, so it's a pretty old card, it's 2022. When placed on a rearguard circle from the hand, so exactly the same as Avidity Slave, you can counterblast 1, right? And then afterwards, you get an effect. So the effect is pretty simple. Hold on, I need to reply to work. Okay, yeah, let me get back to that. So for Milos Lava, you just CB1 after that, choose a card with grade equal than or less than to your Vanguard from your soul, and then you put it into your hand if it's a card with the same name as your Vanguard. If not, you just call it to rearguard circle. If you put a card into your hand, this unit gains 5. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, Ames, why do I need a weaker Favrneel Revoltist? It is true that this card is a weaker Favrneel Revoltist because it doesn't soul charge, it pulls a card out of the soul. And yeah, it does cause a counterblast. Like, counterblast is already pretty tight in this deck. But there's a reason why I feel Milos Lava is pretty good. And that's because of Rheingold himself. Now, previously when I did the original Rheingold video, I made the allusion, I alluded to the possibility of a way to loop Favrneel Rheingold, right? Because Rheingold, for those who remember, has an alternate cost where instead of counterblasting 2, you can just move a Favrneel from your hand to the soul to cheat the condition. Not only that, but you know, just having Favrneels around is a good thing because you can ensure persona rights, especially if you don't have Horondis, who is, you know, copies 5, 6, 7, 8 of your persona. But you know, it's always better to have copies 1, 2, 3, and 4 than 5, 6, 7, 8, if I'm making sense here. Now, the thing is that before that, let's be real, I wasn't really playing Favrneel that competitively, but ever since I started bringing Favrneels to some locals and trying it out, and then my friend suggested this card to me, and I was like, holy crap, it really works, because basically, right, as long as you already have a Vanguard that's Favrneel Rheingold, you can just counterblast 1, choose a Favrneel Rheingold from your soul, which will happen because Favrneels can convert very easily thanks to Favrneel's start on the main phase skill, or if you're just using a superior right skill, or Avidity Slave, as we just talked about, right? You can just add the Favrneel that you just wrote over or put into your soul back to your hand. This unit gains 5000 power, and then you can just use it to move into the soul and cheat the CB2. So basically, for 1 counterblast, you now get 2 counterblasts worth. And not only that, even if you have excess counterblast, you can just use it as persona right next turn. Like, I don't know, man. Like yes, it is a stretch because it is a grade 3 triple rare on place. So there are weaknesses to Milos Lava, and I'm not gonna deny that. But I still think this card is really neat and a consideration for Favrneel. Considering that seriously, no one I've ever seen in terms of online, right, has ever brought up this possibility of playing this in Favrneel. And I just don't know why. I really think this could be the secret sauce, especially given a card like Avidity's Slave, which omni searches Favrneel Rheingold and just throws into the soul. Now all the more, you have an even better method of loop, right? It's a stronger loop mechanism because you can just go through the deck and just loop the Favrneels and ensure you can constantly get Persona right and beat. And as I said in the previous Favrneel video, that is what Favrneel was missing. Favrneel already had insane firepower on turn 4 and on turn 3 decent firepower. But now that you get to extend the life of this game plan in terms of grouping the cards and ensuring you get enough resources, it is really good. I do really think that Mirror's Lava is a step in the right direction given this new support for sure. And yeah, I mean that's really all I can say for this video. Really, the point I want to make is that this deck, in my very personal opinion, in terms of my capacity playing this deck, I really feel that this card is like this deck is like one card away from being strong. And the best part is Grand Grace lost his chance because Grand Grace already got a tournament promo, which I already did cover. I covered it early because of the delay, right? But Favrneel hasn't gotten a tournament promo yet. So there is a very real chance that in September or November, we get a promo that completely fixes the rest of the issues, right? Because all the consistency issues have been solved by Avidity Slave as well as Minos Lava working in tandem. Now, all you need for Favrneel is an energy user who can plus a bit or put a bit of pressure on your opponent, and that's it. I genuinely think Favrneel will rise to being a top 5 Dark States deck, and that's not an exaggeration. I genuinely believe that. And that's why I just really wanted to put this video out to share, because I know there are some Favrneel fans out there. I really don't think I'm the only one, and frankly, I think for this deck, it's only getting better. The issue is because DZBT09 is usually a very crowded set because of the amount of right lines that are back for support. Hello, Ezo. But the fact that, we get a double rare that does so much for a singular deck by itself is something I just have to talk about immediately. Like, it's just something I have to raise people's attentions to, especially those people who are very interested in playing this deck or learning about this deck. This is definitely something you don't want to sleep on, because like the ability to search out your cross right and just keep it with you forever is a mechanic that would easily break half of the cross right decks. I know personally in standard. Like, if you gave this to PBO, Draconic Kaiser Vermilion, Blonde Dazzle, Felty Rosa, I don't know, what was that other strong cross right deck recently? Like, if you gave any of those decks this, they would be insane, right? But Favrneel is missing a search mechanism and a plus mechanism, and now he's just gotten search, completely solved this set with both this and the discovery of Minos Lava as a good companion. So honestly, at this stage, like, Favrneel, you're just one tournament promo away from being strong, and the problem is we are gonna get a tournament promo. So until next time, that's the next time you'll hear about me for Favrneel. Who knows? Maybe by then I'll do a full deck profile for Favrneel Rhine Gold. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Take care.